South Sticks.
Hi, my name is Rob Jones. I have gone to the Paralympics and won a bronze medal. I've rode my bike across the country 5,100 miles, and I've run 31 marathons in 31 days. And I'm here to tell you, some days I get up, I don't want to work out, I don't want to do the thing that I decided to do that day, and I'm going to try and tell you some strategies to help you get through that moment and get after it. So when you get up in the morning and you've got a workout or something like that on your schedule and you don't want to do it, one of the first things that I do is I remind myself of why that particular workout or this particular task is important to a very important long-term goal for me. I knew that when I was wounded, when I lost both my legs in Afghanistan, that I wanted to be able to walk again as close to it possible as I did before. But that's a 1.5 year long process. It's a grind of day to day. And a lot of times I wouldn't see progress on a day-to-day basis or even on a weekly basis, or I would even make negative progress. And so, but I would have these short-term goals for myself. So the first one I had was get out of the ICU. The second one was get out of my bed and get into a wheelchair. Then I had a short-term goal of be able to get in the wheelchair by myself without my nurses helping me. So I had all these things these goals that I was accomplishing on my way to that long-term goal that made me feel like I was making progress and kind of played on that psychological feeling of having energy in the beginning and the end, because it's so short that there's not a whole lot of middle there. And so you're kind of feeling motivated throughout the entire short-term goal. And so you rely on whichever one you need to in the moment in order to get yourself to do the work. Everybody has this voice inside your head. That's when you wake up and you're in a moment where you don't want to do the thing that you know that you need to do. This inner voice, some people call it the inner monologue, some people call it resistance. I call it my inner terrorist. And the reason I call it that is because I recognized early on in my recovery that the enemy for me and everything that I was doing after I got wounded was the terrorist that put the landmine on the ground that I stepped on that severed my legs. His goal was to kill me entirely, and he didn't succeed that day. So he was going to continue to try and kill me in preventing me from going on to have a successful life. So whenever I had that voice inside my head that was trying to rationalize why I shouldn't do what I know I need to do and why it's not important and why I can just do it tomorrow or do it some other time, I knew that was that inner terrorist trying to prevent me from having a successful life. So it kind of gave me an enemy in my head. And everybody has that kind of thing. That's the voice that's telling you not to do it. And having the short-term goal and the long-term goal is a great way to shut that voice up. When I was in the clinic, my inner voice would say, or my inner terrorist would say, well, don't go try this new walking technique or this new skill in walking, say, using bionic knees or trying to walk on a slope outside or something like that, because, well, you might fall. And, there's a lot of people around, so they're going to see you fall, and it's going to be really embarrassing, and you're going to look stupid. And that was the inner terrorist trying to prevent me from being able to walk in a way that I wanted to be able to walk. But that's ego. That's coming from my own ego, because I didn't want to be embarrassed, because I was a lot of the times I was kind of seen as the more advanced above knee amputee in the clinic, especially later on in my time there, and I didn't want to fall down and kind of ruin that visage and be embarrassed. So that was my own ego. So it's all coming from me, but it's in the voice of this terrorist. And then so move on to, let's say, rowing, where I'm in the middle of a really tough race or a really tough training session, and the voice is saying, well, you can back off from this training session because it hurts, and you don't need to do this, and it's not important. You don't have to win this race. You don't have to. This training session doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you make a certain time. But that was my own sense of pain. I didn't want to be in pain anymore. My own sense of fear and my own sense of doubt in myself. But it was coming through the voice of this this inner terrorist. So yeah, I mean, it's always the same voice. It's always you. It's great if you can have a goal, a long-term goal and a short-term goal that are selfless, that are about more than you. That is the most powerful way that you can ensure that you're going to have something that is going to get you out of these tough moments. Your goal doesn't always have to be selfless, but I think, in my experience, that having a goal that is about something bigger than yourself, more important than yourself, that is going to be the best way to overcome anything and accomplish anything in your life. In the military, we know exactly what this is. I mean, the guy that runs through machine gun fire, or the person that dives on a grenade, they're not doing that for themselves. Those are the two greatest acts that you could possibly make, is sacrificing yourself for somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, your brothers and your sisters. That's kind of what taught me this, and I didn't know it at the time, but I did that in order to recover quickly from my own injury. So I knew 3 days later, I was high on morphine and Dilaudid and all these different painkillers, and I woke up in Germany on my way back to America. What I did at that time was I put my mom and my family and my buddies back in Afghanistan, they were the people that were most important to me. So what did they need me to do? What did they need from me? They needed me to be okay. That was what was best for them. What was best for them in that moment was for me to be okay. Because my brothers in Afghanistan, if they were hearing that I was struggling, they weren't going to be 100% focused on what they needed to be doing. And obviously, my mom needed to be okay because she's my mom and my friends and my family. And so when I made that realization that that's what they needed, and I cared about them more than myself, then I forced myself to be okay, and I pretty much recovered. I accepted my situation almost immediately. Those are my tips for overcoming your inner monologue, your inner terrorist. If I was going to give advice to a young service member out there, I would say selflessness. The selfless purpose is the key in life to overcoming anything and achieving anything.
All right.
Does that work?
Yep.
Cool.